welcome to you as you join us on today's episode of Tax Matters. My name is Olumuyiwa Matuluko. You can see that we are very happy, very, very happy, because it is a new dawn in tax administration in Nigeria. Ardent viewers of this program will recall that an episode or two ago, the executive chairman of the FRS came on the program and spoke about the several ways, the various ways in which the FRS is trying to ensure that tax administration in Nigeria is technology driven.
One issue about tax, apart from providing information as to how to pay, what to pay, is an issue of convenience. So we launched recently 6 online ICT solutions. We also have a solution for those who are registered but don't have tax ID numbers, or to basically just visit our website, and we have actually auto-generated numbers for them to be used. We did launch the following initiatives. Right now, you can actually pay all your stamp duties online. You can file all your returns online. You can download your receipts and confirm your receipts also online. For some of your customers where you work either for the state government or for large corporations, and they withhold your withholding tax, and you hope that they remit that amount withheld, and you find out that sometimes they don't remit it, within 45 days right now you'll be able to tell whether that withholding tax has been remitted on your behalf or not. All that is required is that you register with an email address that you want information to be sent to, and the moment any tax is paid on your behalf, you will get an email informing you that it has been done, and you can download that receipt and also verify it with a smartphone. You can also request for a tax clearance certificate online without even leaving your office. And all these solutions can be done anywhere in the world at any point in time, 24/7.
We got a surprise. On the 24th of July, we made payment at a bank branch in Ogba in Lagos regarding withholding tax for 5 beneficiaries, which is what we should do as an agent of collection. And voila, on the 6th of August, a Sunday for that matter, an email came into our box, and it reached us. Notification at frs.gov.ng. Our receipt number is quoted, our TIN number, the amount 2,529,000, and the date of payment 24th of July. And it went further. Please download your receipt from https:/tcc.frs.gov.ng/e-receipt. We did as was advised, and guess what happened? The receipt came out. It's a new dawn for tax administration in Nigeria. All you need to do is to visit that site on your screen, click on Verify Receipt, and it will prompt you on, asking for things like your taxpayer identification number and other matters, and you are home and dry.
London, New York or Lagos, business or holiday, home or office, you can now carry out your tax transactions from anywhere in the world. You can now file all your tax returns, pay online, get a receipt, and even process your tax clearance certificate from anywhere in the world online and in real time. All you need to do is log on to www.firs.gov.ng and click on e-services and be introduced to the world of innovation, convenience and transparency from the FIRS. You can also pay stamp duty as you register a new company with the CAC, or for other transactions that require stamp duty payment online. You can also file your withholding tax returns and determine the withholding tax deducted from you is in government covers, so that you can get your receipt within 45 days as long as the deduction has been remitted. Yes, all of this and more online at www.firs.gov.ng/e-services. FIRS, making tax administration as easy as ABC. Please note that all FIRS services are free of charge. This message is from the Federal Inland Revenue Service. It pays to pay your tax.
Moving on to other matters. early in the year 2017, precisely on January 25th, we had a guest in our studio in the person of Mr. Dele Ogun, a Nigerian in diaspora. Mr. Ogun lives in the UK. He is a barrister licensed to practice both in the UK and in Nigeria. And for decades, he has run a corporate tax law firm in the UK. Among other things, we asked Mr. Ogun to react to the calls for tax amnesty. And this is what he had to say. About the month of September or October, the Federal Inland Revenue Service came up with waiver of penalties and interest on back taxes going back 3 years, 2013 to 2015 financial years. That speaks to the talk about tax amnesty. Rarely do you go to a tax event without people talking about tax amnesty. Across jurisdictions, what use is made of tax amnesty?
Very positive use. I mean, there are a number of countries that have introduced tax amnesties in recent years. India, for example. What it does is this. It's recognizing that government does not have the resources to chase every single tax avoider. Yet government has a determination to stop tax avoidance. For it to work, government has to be determined to stamp down hard on those who will defy the amnesty. To say this is an opportunity for everybody to come on side. It's a state of emergency. Everybody come on side, regularize affairs. This is a fresh start. Anybody, any citizen who does not take up this olive branch that has been offered, then you only have yourself to blame when government comes down on you with its full weight and authority. Imprisonment, confiscation of assets. That is the role of tax amnesty, and many jurisdictions are using it to good effect. If it's done with the necessary sincerity, the political will. Everything depends on political will. Any change that you want in any environment, if the political will is there, the change happens.
Is amnesty fair? In the sense that here I am, diligently performing my duties over the years. My partner, my colleague, my fellow market owner, my fellow colleague at work has not been paying. And the government now comes and says, your sins are forgiven. Is it fair?
Well,
is it fair on those who have been paying?
I think the fairness on those who have been paying comes from this. Without the amnesty, or without an amnesty, that situation will continue. You will continue to carry the tax burden, and they will continue to live outside the tax regime.
And to enjoy from the fruits of the taxes that we are paying.
Yes. But you see, amnesty is, those jurisdictions that have introduced it, is almost like a joint venture between the taxpayers, the honest taxpayers, and the government. They're joining hands to say, you who are the transgressors, the historic transgressors, this is your last chance. You come on our side, otherwise. You see, the important part of any amnesty is not so much the carrot, it is the stick. That if you do not take it up, then you will see the consequences.
We are going to apply the stick.
Heavily. And that is the payback for the honest taxpayer.
Very prophetic. That was way back in January, and you did hear him in February. 5-6 months up the ladder, precisely June 29, the federal government launched the Voluntary Assets and Income Declaration Scheme, which is a scheme involving both the federal government and all the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. And what is it about? Recalcitrant taxpayers or those who have not been paying adequately enough are given a window of opportunity spanning 9 months to come out clean, declare their true income, and pay due taxes. Because the comments of Mr. Ogun are so germane to the topic at hand, we decided to bring you the concluding thoughts of the gentleman in that interview. Mr. Ogun, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
We want to begin today's episode by looking at ways in which the tax administrators can bring both sides of the divide into the tax net. And what do I mean? We want to look at taxing high net worth individuals. We also want to look at taxing operators in the informal sector. You can choose to begin where you like.
In any tax system, the tax authorities can only tax what they can see. And this is what the high net worth sector and the, what did you call the other sector?
The informal sector.
The informal sector, what they have in common, which is lack
they have something in common.
Oh, indeed. There is lack of transparency. It is not clear the full extent of what it is they are drawing in. Largely because in the informal sector, of course, it's very much cash transactions. Same problem arises in the UK as well. Some of the wealthiest people are those who are in the cash sectors. The builders, the plumbers, the cab drivers, and what tax authorities there have to do is, or what they tend to do, is to work backwards. They will have some, of course, who are honest, who will declare their income, and then you use comparators. You take the figures from the honest taxi driver, and from there you juxtapose and you project what's the level of earnings of this other fellow. If it's completely out of sync, so one is up here and the other one is all the way down there, then that raises a presumption against the one that's down here, and the onus of proving, you raise an assessment based on this fellow's figures. Throw the onus on the one down here to demonstrate and to justify why his own income is only at this level. Tax authorities cannot, it would never work if the tax enforcement agency has to have all the information, has to find all the information, rather than pushing the onus of proof onto the taxpayer sometimes, where it seems that the level of tax that he is paying is out of sync with others in the same sector. And similarly for the high net worth individuals, you must work back from the known to the unknown. The unknown is that high net, or those high net worth individuals, they're living a lifestyle which suggests that the level of tax they should be paying is here, whereas the tax that they're actually paying is here. You're using the known to get to the unknown. By pushing the onus of proof back onto them, you will raise an estimated assessment on them that based on these factors, the house that you live in, the properties that you are known to own, the amount of foreign trips you indulge in, where your children have been educated, all of these known elements then are fed into the system in order to get to the unknown. The capacity of a government to enforce its laws, especially its tax laws, depends on the level of visibility in terms of information that's available. In the tax field, you almost need like night vision goggles to see in the dark. You know those that the US Army use? That even though it's dark all around you because the people have not volunteered the information as regards their earnings. But using the night vision goggles, the tax system, the tax authorities over there, they can see what needs to be seen. And they raise assessments accordingly.
How did they go about that?
Well, they'll work back, for example, from a lifestyle. Over the years, they've developed a system where the citizen does not know how much the Inland Revenue actually know. You see, you keep the citizen guessing as to how much we, the tax authorities, know
About you?
about you. So psychologically, it starts to operate on you to say,
If they grab you, like they say in Nigeria, if they grab you,
that I'm sure they may know about this thing. So I better disclose it. I better disclose it. Because the information systems that they have, or the quest for information, dedicated departments who are out there looking, reading the newspapers. And the newspaper reports was telling me about this person's lifestyle. He's just bought a new Bentley. But I look at his tax records. And this is not consistent with somebody who should be owning a Bentley. I therefore need to look more closely. So it is the bits of information that are out there that are collated. And what they do, they start from high-profile people. You see, here's one of the differences between a developing society and a developed society. In a developed society, laws operate top-down. It is the most powerful that they go after first. Because if they go after the most powerful, it sends a signal all the way down the system to say, if they can treat so-and-so like that, if the tax system can get hold of that celebrity and take him down.
This World Footballer of the Year, this film icon,
Take, for example,
this musician.
Look at Messi and the Spanish tax authorities when they zoomed in on him. And they made an example, and it became public knowledge all over the world.
His father was involved.
Yes, he had to do a deal and settle it. That is how the tax systems over there, they look for the most high-profile person, and they go after them to make an example. Because then you don't have to...
And that sends a signal.
Yes, because trying to catch the multitude at the bottom is beyond the resources of any tax administration. But if you go to the top of the cone and attack the person at the top, it will send the message all the way down. And everybody else will volunteer information.
So Obama sends the name of somebody to Congress for confirmation as secretary, and they discovered that he paid $5,000 less in taxes and is forced to withdraw.
Absolutely. That sends the signals down. It becomes
Just
news.
like that.
It becomes news. That they look for...
The man paid $100,000, and they determined that he was supposed to have paid $105,000, and he had to withdraw his nomination.
That is the art of enforcing laws. It is not every individual that you chase. You find the ones that were newsworthy. You will make an example of them, and that will send a signal out to everybody else.
This is a
Then
profound
the law
point.
starts to enforce itself. Most laws, there are too many laws.
This is a profound point.
Yes, there are too many laws to have law enforcement agents enforcing each and every one. In a law-abiding society, most laws are self-enforcing. People just do what is expected of them without anybody standing over their shoulder. But the society gets to that situation. It's a journey. Once we say we're a turnaround generation and we're now going to do things differently, starting from the top, I underline that point, starting from the top, it will cascade down very, very quickly.
You've made that point about starting from the top, going after the well-heeled, and that will set a signal down the ladder. You also spoke about the taxpayer kept guessing about how much revenue knows about him or her.
Yes.
I like that point too.
It's psychology. Law enforcement, but particularly tax enforcement, is a game of psychology. That you will give the person an opportunity to force extra disclosure. The tax authorities can even tell them on a preliminary assessment or preliminary communications, we know about this that you haven't told us about.
You went to England twice last year.
And at that point, they hold it there. Say, is there anything else you would like to tell us? So now the guy knows, okay, they already know about this one.
That he went to England three times in 2016.
Okay.
So you bought that house in Abuja.
Mm-hmm. That's if, and the tax authority is now able to say that, okay, you see that we know that, you didn't tell us. We're giving you a chance to tell us more. Because if you tell us more now, we can close the books.
Your son is in school in Scotland.
We can close the books. But if you force us to bring the rest of what we know,
then grab you.
then is to jail and directly to jail. But right now, here's an opportunity.
Come out clean.
Come out clean.
Declare your particulars.
It's the psychology of tax enforcement. It is not by muscle or brawn or AK-47. It is by the clever use of information, the information that is out there about the lifestyles of these people.
The Federal Inland Revenue Service FIRS calls on all corporate organizations operating in Nigeria to register for the purpose of payment of taxes and obtain a tax identification number TIN. All registered companies must obtain a tax identification number immediately from the nearest FIRS office. You can also collect and return tax registration forms from the Federal Inland Revenue Service Engagement and Enlightenment Tax Teams, FEET, on compliance checks exercise in your area. A company which is yet to commence business after at least 6 months of incorporation must pay a pre-operational levy of 20,000 naira in the first year and 25,000 naira for subsequent years to obtain its tax clearance certificate TCC. Note that filing and payment of VAT and withholding tax returns must be done on or before the 21st day of every month. Register for VAT. File all tax returns as and at when due. Be a responsible corporate citizen of Nigeria. It pays to pay your tax. This message is from the Federal Inland Revenue Service.
There you are. That was way back at the end of January 2017, and parts 1 and 2 came to you in the month of February. But Mr. Ogun's comments remain timeless. They remain evergreen against the background of the recently launched Voluntary Assets and Income Declaration Scheme, VATS. Mr. Ogun spoke about the travails of the Argentinian footballer Lionel Messi in the hands of the Spanish authorities. Of course, you know that in the last few weeks, Cristiano Ronaldo has also been going through the same problems with the Spanish authorities. What is the way out? 1, in as much as tax authorities all over the world are trying to make things as simple as possible, taxation remains a technical issue. So do not attempt to navigate the field by yourself, or else you get into trouble. You get your fingers burnt. Avail yourself the services of registered tax practitioners. Contact the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria and you will be able to get the benefit of professional advice. Of course, you know, more importantly, that every office of the FRS that you go to, there's a taxpayer services desk. That is the first place you will come to, and they will put you through in whatever you want to do. Don't pay them. Don't give them money. Don't ask them to put your books together for you. Your accounts must be put together by a qualified accountant. And a qualified tax practitioner must calculate your tax liabilities. And lastly, take advantage of the voluntary assets and income declaration scheme. If you take advantage of that between now and the end of 2017, you will not pay interest. If you take advantage of this between now and the end of the scheme on March 31st, 2018, you will not pay any penalty. So come out now, declare your assets, pay your taxes. No interest, no penalty, no audit, no fear of prosecution. We thank you most sincerely for watching. Let's do this again next week. Same station, same day of the week, same time of the day. Have a blessed week ahead.